Differences between Spanish Caribbean and English Caribbean. And when I'm talking about English Caribbean, I'm talking about Jamaica, Bahamas, Trinidad, Virgin Islands, places like that. I'm talking about Spanish Caribbean, I'm talking about Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba. One greeting, Spanish Caribbean more likely to kiss you on the cheek, give you a hug when they see you. English Caribbean, we don't do that. They'll shake your hand, dap you up, that's the most. Religion, okay, most have Christian beliefs, but the English Caribbean is more likely to be Baptist, and the Spanish Caribbean is more likely to be Catholic, okay? Three, I'm gonna be a hard for this. Racial views, okay? It's different from ethnicity for the most part, okay? But I'm gonna say this, the English Caribbean, if they're mixed with black, they're gonna consider themselves black, especially if you can see that they black. And the Spanish Caribbean, they're more likely, even if they look black, to say they mixed. They're gonna count their white side, the native side, even if the native side is less than 10%. Okay, in order for them to consider themselves black as the Spanish Caribbean, they gotta be really, really dark skinned. Other than that, they're gonna consider themselves mixed. But that is for a lot, not all. There's some people that's from the Spanish Caribbean islands that will proudly proclaim black if they look visibly black. They have some black pride. Let me get that straight. But there's a lot that's gonna, even if will prefer to say white. But like I said, not all. There's some proud black Spanish Caribbean. And there's some ones in the English Caribbean islands that will proudly say they're mixed. Okay, they'll proudly talk about being mixed with Indian, Chinese, whatever. But there's some that look like Sean Ball. They would just say they black. For the sports, English Caribbean is more likely interested in track and field, okay? Especially the Jamaicans and the Trinidadian ones too. The Spanish Caribbean is more likely going to be into baseball, okay? You're not going to find too many English Caribbean people into baseball. Bahamas a little, but the rest, no. But some things are changing, you know. The Dominican track team is getting better. And you have some Cubans that are getting into track. And fifth, the language, which is obvious, okay? In the Caribbean islands, the English Caribbean islands, or Anglo, correct term, they're going to speak English. In the Spanish Caribbean islands, they're going to speak Spanish. At the end of the day, though, even though there's cultural differences, even between each islands, okay? Jamaica, Bahamas, Trinidad, they both all speak English, but there's cultural differences there. There's different ethnic groups. In Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, they all speak Spanish. There's cultural difference there, different ethnic groups. And in the whole, as English or Spanish, all these islands got something more similar with each other than they are different in the end. But correct me if I was wrong, and if y'all think I missed something, let me know in the comments.